everyone. Good morning. Hi, go ahead. You can say hi.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome to Kids Eat Vegetables. And if you're new to our page, my name is Jen Zills, and I am the founder of Kids Eat Vegetables, where I help busy moms on their journey to raising healthy kids. And today we are in the kitchen doing some holiday baking, and thought we would go live and share some of our favorite baking tips. As you know, one of the best ways I think that we can get our kids to eat healthy is to involve them in the preparation of food, and what better time to do that than with holiday cookies? Who can say no to that? So we are, Avery's off school today, so we're very excited to have some special time in the kitchen because her brother and sister are at school today. So we have some special time in the kitchen. And we are going to make some holiday cookies. We're going to make muffins for a mom's group we're going to tomorrow. And we are going to make some popcorn treats for her brother's class later this week. So we are busy in the kitchen. We thought we would jump on live and share with you some of our tips. So, kids in the kitchen, moms, the first thing, I know you kind of cringe. I do too, because it usually means it's going to take more time and there's going to be a huge mess. But it doesn't always have to mean that, and the more you get your kids in the kitchen, the less time it takes, the more they understand, and the less, well, not always, sometimes the less messier it gets. We'll see. You never know. One of the things that we like to do before we get started is prepare in advance for any messes. So I always give each of the kids their own cloth napkin to have available for them to wipe their fingers if they have any messes. And then we always keep handy a wet rag and a dry rag. Sorry, hi, thanks for joining. And a dry rag just ready to go to be able to quickly clean up any messes that we have. This is not the time, when you have your kids in the kitchen, this is not the time to try some fancy, French souffle or some really amazing, epic recipe that you want to post on Instagram. Not when the kids are in the kitchen. When the kids are in the kitchen, keep it simple. So today we are going to be making some chocolate chip cookies, right? Excited?
Yeah.
Yes. Great. So keep it simple, embrace the mess. Another tip we have is let the kids read the recipes. It's a great way for them to learn, for them to understand portions. It's also a great way for them to learn their way around the kitchen. So either by having them read the recipe and going to get the ingredients, or you call out the ingredients and they go get them. It's really important for kids to understand that we can use ingredients in our house and in our kitchen to make our own food. We don't have to go buy all of our food. We can actually make our own food with ingredients, right? Mm-hmm. Besides cookies, what are some of your favorite things to make? Muffins. Muffins are a good one. Yeah, muffins. You probably can make muffins by yourself, huh? Pretty close. What is it? Pancakes. Pancakes too. You can talk here. Pancakes. So let your kids read the recipe. It's a great way for them to learn the way around the kitchen and learn about ingredients and learn kind of what goes together to make these simple items like cookies and muffins, right? One of the most important skills that I find that kids need to know is how to crack an egg. An egg is so basic to almost all of your baking recipes you're going to do, your breakfast recipes, the pancakes, the muffins, all your breakfast recipes. And as soon as your kids can learn how to crack an egg, they are well on their way to making breakfast by themselves, which is awesome. It's a big help. I know all three of my kids know how to crack eggs. My 11-year-old is able to make full breakfast by himself. Avery does a pretty good job of helping him out and making breakfast as well. She's still learning to use the stove with supervision, but she does a nice job getting all the ingredients together. So first we're going to talk about is how to crack an egg. And do you want to talk a little bit about that? The first rule we have is you never crack the egg. Kids don't crack the egg into the recipe bowl, right? They crack their egg into a little bowl, right? Into a little bowl. And then pour it in. So what do you know about cracking an egg?
That if you get the shell in, you just use the eggshell to get that shell out.
So if you do accidentally get an eggshell into your egg, the easiest way to get the shell out is to use
another eggshell.
Is to use the eggshell, because like attracts like, so the best way to do that. So do you want to crack an egg for our recipe? Again, we're making chocolate chip cookies. Yum. And we need 2 eggs, so Avery's going to crack those 2 eggs for us. There we go. And what do you know? We got a little bit of shell in there. That usually happens. That's why we teach them how to get the eggshell out quickly, using the egg itself to scoop it out and not too much of our fingers. There we go, perfect. So she got that eggshell out. Like I said, that happens kind of often, so we're prepared for that. But cracking eggs is so important. It is fun. Eggs are fundamental to so many recipes, and like I said, the quicker we can get them to make their own breakfast, yay! Go ahead, yeah, you can do both of those eggs. So another tip we have when making cookies, actually cookies, muffins, pancakes, a lot of our basic recipes, is we like to reduce the amount of sugar. Oh, she did very well. No eggshells that time. Yay. Very good. We like to reduce the amount of sugar in most of the recipes. So if you're following the recipe on the back of your chocolate chip, your bag of chocolate chips, we like to, so this recipe calls for, let's see, 3/4 cup of sugar. What we like to do is we like to use, you can show it, we like to use coconut palm sugar. And this is organic coconut palm sugar, and it's made from the actual flowers of the coconut palm tree, the nectar of the flowers of the coconut palm tree. And okay, I'm not going to go as far as to say that this sugar is healthier, because, you know, sugar is sugar. Our body's going to react to that the same way regardless. But anytime we can reduce the amount of sugar in our recipes, you know, it's better for all of us. It's better for our health and better for our kids. So the reason I like to use this is because it has a much richer taste. It is significantly less processed than a refined white sugar. And it does, because it's less processed, it actually does retain several of its nutrients. So it is a little more nutritional than a refined white sugar, but like I said, I wouldn't call it healthy. It just, because it has a rich flavor, you can use less of it in your recipes. So start by, you know, this, like I said, this recipe calls for 3/4 cup sugar. I probably would use, I'd cut that down by a half or maybe even more. So you could use a 1/2 cup or maybe 1/3 of a cup of your coconut palm sugar. So coconut palm sugar is a 1-for-1. So you can easily take 3/4, if the recipe says 3/4 refined sugar, you can use 3/4 of your coconut palm sugar. It is a 1-for-1 substitute, but because it's richer, I like to use a little bit less. So I would use about 1/2 to 1/3 cup of sugar in the recipe. So that's one little tip we'd like to share. Go ahead.
Can I get a fork for them?
No, we're just going to pour those right in, but thank you. And another tip we like to do is, I forgot to get the vanilla out. Do you want to get the vanilla? She knows right where that is. We like to, careful, we like to reduce the amount of sugar and add in extra vanilla. So if it calls for a teaspoon, I will use 2 to 3 teaspoons of vanilla in my recipe when baking. It allows you to, like I said, reduce the sugar and still have that sweetness. So we like to double or triple the amount of vanilla in our recipes. And again, that's a little bit, makes them a little bit healthier by allowing us to reduce the sugar. So our tips, just to recap, our tips: be prepared for the mess. Keep it simple. Keep to simple recipes when you have your kids in the kitchen. Let the kids read the recipes. Let them go find the ingredients around your kitchen. Help them to learn that ingredients are what we use to make our food, and that we can make our own food in our kitchen. We don't always have to buy cookies. We can make cookies. Let them do things like crack eggs. Usually for Avery and for my little one, I usually measure. They usually do the pouring. For my older son, we let him do a little bit more measuring. Last weekend he wanted to make cheesecake. This was his idea. So he went with Daddy to the grocery store, got all the ingredients, started making his cheesecake, and accidentally didn't read the ingredients properly, and he used a teaspoon of, I think it was baking soda, instead of a full tablespoon. So now he's worried, oh, I messed up. What do I do now? And he added that right into his batter. So he was in a little bit of a pickle. And I said, I don't know, go figure it out. So he went over to Google and he figured out how many teaspoons are in a tablespoon. And he was able to quickly rectify his recipe. And it did turn out pretty well, his cheesecake. So
good.
It was good. It was an eggnog cheesecake. So good to get your kids in the kitchen. That's the point today. And like I said, even if it's a little bit messy, make time for it. It's so important that our kids learn to make their own food and learn what ingredients they need to make healthy choices. So, you want to say goodbye?
Bye.
We'll get back to making our chocolate chip cookies. And if you're making any holiday recipes or holiday chocolate chip cookies or cookies today or this week, please be sure to share some pictures with us in the comments. We would love to see your holiday creations and your kids in the kitchen. Bye.
Bye.